thing I realized today is, I think J.D. Vance is scared of the Good Ole Boys, like everybody else. I don't think he knows he's the president, even still. He's like too afraid to like step into the leadership role and be like, Donald, you didn't swear on the Bible. I was there, you didn't put your hand on the Bible, you're not the president. I'm the president. J.D. Vance doesn't have the guts to do that, even now. You know what I mean? We all saw it. You know what I mean? J.D. Vance is the president. He's just too scared of the Good Ole Boys. He is. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. They'll put him in a jail cell, just like they did me. Guantanamo Bay. They'll put J.D. Vance there if he challenges them. He will. They will. It's not a joke. Even though he's the vice president, they'll still do that if he challenges and says, I'm the president, I swear on the Bible. You know what I mean? According to their rules, put your hand on the Bible to be the president. The rules are important to them. You know, if you're an inmate, the rules are very important. Oh, put your pant leg down. Oh, button your shirt. You know what I mean? The rules are important for the inmates. Why aren't the rules important for the top office? Hand on the Bible to be the president. Fair is fair. Anyways, we already know that. The rules are different for the Revolutionary Army against the dictatorship. The rules are different for us, walking in chains on our ankles. You know what I mean? I know how that goes. But anyways, yeah, that's what I thought about today, because J.D. Vance is my age. He's not like them. He's not. The Good Ole Boys is like a generation above him. Mainly the baby boomers. He's a child of the baby boomer generation. You know what I mean? He ain't like them. He's my age. That's why I voted for him. So J.D. Vance, if you watch this video, wake up. You're the president of the United States of America. Step up. Don't be afraid of them, what they'll do to you. You know the rules set by George Washington, the first president, put his hand on the Bible. You know the rules. He didn't do that. You're the president. Look how crazy. Look what's happened. Look what happens when a man doesn't swear in the Bible. Look what happens. We're in concentration camps. You know what I'm saying? I've never been arrested until the Donald took over. Never. My whole life. Clean record. The Donald takes over. I have an Auschwitz number. You know what I mean? It's no joke. It's serious stuff. You know what I mean? You know? But anyways, J.D. Vance, we need your help. That's what this video is about. It's not a joke. From one 1980s kid to another, we need your help, Vance. In advance. Help. Before I'm in Auschwitz again. Before they're calling me a number instead of a person again. Hurry. We all saw it, I saluted you as the president, and right after you put your hand on the Bible, I saluted you. I was the first one. What the heck? I know they're intimidating, The Good Ole Boys, they're very intimidating. They have power, they do. They got, they do whatever they want. That power does whatever it wants. That's what that evil power is stronger than I thought. That's one thing I learned. I had no idea how strong the evil power of the Good Ole Boys until I was sitting in a jail cell talking to another inmate about it. You know what I mean? He's standing up for freedom as well. You know what I'm saying? They locked him up. He's like exposing the dirty cops and stuff on film and stuff. They locked him up. Because of that, they just locked him up and just kept him there. Because he was exposing them. There's a price to pay to expose evil. They get locked up, get called domestic terrorists, even though they're the terrorists. They're the ones body snatching us, putting us in chains. They're the terrorists, you know what I mean? But anyways, this is a cry out for help. J.D. Vance, help the people, please. Please, Because I was listening to people on the news today. I haven't heard the news in a while. I'm like, they're still not acknowledging J.D. Vance as the president. He's too scared. He's scared still. I'm going to give you courage. But you're the president. Step up, Vance. I believed in you. That's why I voted for you. I recorded it on a video. I voted for you. The Donald was just there on the ballot. I bypassed voting for Jesus as a write-in candidate to vote for you, Vance. Help! Help! The country's in trouble. They're locking us all up at will. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Everybody knows it. I was gone for 11 weeks. Archangel had to track me down, tell the world where I was. I had to communicate to Archangel in archaicness, by letter, by letter through, with a dove to carry the letter to Archangel. It was very archaic. I had to do it very archaically. No technology, just letter by dove to Archangel cross country. It felt like it took that long to get to him. That's what I told the inmates. I'm like, everything's very archaic. It's like a miracle to get any message out of here as we're being held hostage by the USA Empire. It's like a miracle to get any message of any kind out. They got all their bases covered. You're excommunicado. You're excommunicado when you're in jail. Totally excommunicado. You know what I mean? I'm like, maybe that dove will get that letter to Archangel. And it did. At least one letter got to Archangel. He responded. He got my letter. I'm like, whoa. The dove got past enemy lines to Archangel, to an ally. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's not what this video is about. It's about Vance. I know the good old boys are scary. No one knows how scary they are like I do. From psychologists to psychiatrists, you name it, police chief, to judges, to the leader of the country. The good old boys are scary. From the FBI, I can go on and on and on about how scary the good old boys are. The ICE terrorist group, the U.S. Marshals that I think chased me down the last time to help the police. They're scary. They're a scary bunch. No one knows it like me. Well, some do, but it takes a brave soul to challenge the good old boys. It takes a brave soul. Yeah. And someone that has nothing to lose to. You know what I mean? But anyways. But isn't that wicked? Like, stand up to the good old boys, after they murder a kid in 13 seconds, you know what I mean? They're still trying to bury anybody speaking up against the good old boys for standing up for a kid that got murdered. The good old boys is connected to that. The evil goes down from the top to the officers that shot the kid. It's a poison. It's a plague. It is. Just like Great Kate said in the paper, it's like a plague that infiltrates every corner until they murder an autistic kid. That's how bad the poison is. Think about how far gone how far gone you have to be as a human. Your soul, how far gone you have to be to run up and shoot a kid in 13 seconds. No questions asked. Just run up, shoot him 13 seconds. He didn't even have a gun. How far gone do you have to be? It's satanic. But I already knew that. The whole thing is, it's all evil. That was just the tip of the iceberg that the whole country saw. That was just the tip of the iceberg of the evil. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's why they're trying to shut me up. Because I know how evil they are. I grew up around them. I have a strangle mark. I had surgery to fix the bone they broke from strangling me. It created a bone spur I had to get it removed. The Good Ole Boys, one of them, authority, strangled me so bad when I was 11 years old. I had to get surgery, you know what I mean, to remove the bone spur that was created there. You're not supposed to have a bone spur there. It only gets created if it gets broke. It's no joke. I got a physical reminder of the Good Ole Boys right here. You know? So, and then they shoot a kid's leg off and he dies. You know what I mean? It doesn't change. The evil doesn't change. From when I was a kid to when they killed Victor, the evil's still the same. It's the same evil. It may have gotten worse since I was a kid. You know, they could have lined up and just shot me like they did Victor back in the 1990s. You know what I mean? The evil escalated until they're like lining up, execute, instead of just strangling to execute. You know what I'm saying? But either way, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We got their number. But anyways. So, yeah, I was hoping J.D. Vance would have had some courage by now. You know what I mean? Stepped up. Because he had a rough upbringing. I'm like, alright. He had a rough upbringing. That means something to me. He survived a rough upbringing, so did I. That means something to me. If you can survive hell on earth as a kid, that means something to me. So to have him... You know, the Good Ole Boys didn't survive anything. You know, they're just evil. But like, he did. He has a good, he survived stuff as a kid. You know what I mean? So I believed in him. That's why I voted for him. So don't let us down. Don't let us down, J.D. Vance. We need your help. You're like the Darth Vader right next to the Emperor in the Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? We're hoping you turn good at the end, J.D. Vance, and help us out. That's all I'll say for this video. I know it's scary to stand up to the Emperor. I do. Just like in Star Wars, he was scared to stand up to the Emperor until the end. Eventually, you gotta choose to be good, you know what I mean? Stand up for righteousness, you know? Take your place in the leadership role. You're the president. Step up, you know? You can watch the replay if you want to, of you putting your hand on the Bible and him not. You can watch it again to motivate you. You're the president. You have my permission. You know what I mean? The man that everyone's afraid of, the most hated man, you're looking at him. You have my permission to step up, push those Good Ole Boys down the pipe. You know, the Emperor down the pipe. Step up and change this country for the better. It's bad. Trust me. Do you want me to show you all the stuff I got? All the stuff from jail to remind? Do you want me to show, everything they did to me physically? What is it going to take, J.D. Vance? Help us. That's all I'll say for this video. Hello, Gambit. How you doing?